Hey everyone, it's Friday, July 17th. Welcome to episode 21 of the Ginger and the Beard podcast.
All right, let's do this.
What's up, guys? I'm AJ, aka the Ginger.
And I'm Brees, aka The Beard.
And if you're just tuning into the stream or you're watching the recorded version of the show, we just got done going brawls out on Brawlhalla. If you want to see how that went, make sure to check out the recording on YouTube. On this week's show, we'll be drinking some delicious craft beers voted on by our audience, talking about SpaceX's plan for satellite internet, more interesting applications for VR, Henry Cejudo's plans to exit retirement, plus a lot of video game news.
But before we dig into all of that, how was your week, sir?
It was good, man. My week was great leading up until about Wednesday night.
Oh no.
When my little guy, my 2-year-old, started to develop a cough throughout the night, and then he comes down with something. We don't know what it is yet, but he's the last couple of days been coughing and just not feeling great. We don't think it's anything too serious
sucks.
yet. Let's not freak out, guys.
Yeah.
No fevers. I don't think it's the Rona. I'm gonna knock on
Rona.
some wood, but so my kids have both been home for the past 2 days, and while I've been working, so that's made things a little bit more challenging. But it's all good. But my wife's starting to feel a little under the weather now too. I got the beginnings of the man cold. I feel like that drainy feeling you get in the back of your throat. I'm like, oh boy, it's coming. There's no stopping it now. You can take all the vitamin C you want, but you're not stopping this train.
No.
So just gotta embrace it.
Oh, dude.
I'm
that
hydrating.
sucks.
I've got a lot of water in this cup. Gonna be drinking some delicious beer here in a few minutes. So
Good
I'm
Arctic.
excited for the weekend, man. The last 2 days were a
Shout
little
out
bit
to
stressful. Oh yeah, I love this cup, man. You don't need that
My
Yeti
favorite.
cup. This is much more affordable and does the same thing. Anyways, so yeah, it was a interesting end to the week, but not bad overall. How about yours, man?
Well, first off, that really sucks, and I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope the little man gets better ASAP, and
Thank you.
I hope what you and your wife are about to go through isn't so bad. Hopefully it's just something real quick, be done with it in a day or less, and then move on, right? So
Yes.
yeah, man,
Yes.
it sucks. For me, I trimmed up my beard a little bit. You probably can't tell.
Oh, I
'Cause
can tell actually.
it was such a minor little trim, but it's a little bit, just a little bit cleaner, a little bit trimmed up. Nothing crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, besides that, I don't know, man. This week just went by so fast. It really went by fast. There was a UFC event on Wednesday, which was really crazy. I didn't even watch it. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what happened this week.
Just
I
like
know
that.
Psh, yeah, just like that, right? Yeah, so I know next week's gonna be better. It's gonna go slower. There's gonna be better things tomorrow. My wife and I are heading out bright and early in the morning. We're gonna go out. We're gonna do a bunch of stuff. We're not gonna go be around a lot of people, but we're gonna go do a bunch of things. We're gonna travel out to this sightseeing place that's lesser known. Called I think it's called Bear's Nest or something like that, basically, and it's just like a
Oh.
scenic overlook that's 20 minutes from our house that we've been talking about for a while. So we're gonna go check that out, and I'm gonna build some shelves tomorrow. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
man.
Nice, dude. For closets or what?
For our bathroom.
Nice.
My wife's really gung-ho on fixing up our bathroom and making it look nicer, so props to her for finding that kind of artistic eye, I guess, and she's got some cool things planned, man. Good colors picked out. She went and got some paint today, and going to be putting together some cool stuff. I'll have to show you a picture, but one of the ideas is basically you take a sponge, right, and you take like the skinny end of the sponge, and you just like space out very like evenly, just like paint of like little sponge paints, just like evenly spaced out across the wall, like not sporadic, not chaotic. Like it's gonna look really nice. I'll have to show you.
Interesting. Our wives must be in communication because my wife is also on the bathroom updating kick at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's what's happened. Now we get to the bottom
Now
of it.
we know it. Now we know
so
it.
they must also probably be taking pictures of us behind our backs as we do all the labor. Just kidding. Mine's not. She's actually the one making everything for the bathroom and hooking it all up. I did also put some shelves up in the bathroom last weekend maybe, but I did not build them. We just bought them from IKEA, and I simply drilled them into the wall. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to see your photos.
Yeah, we bought all this like woodworking stuff, so I got to put it to use. It's so simple to make these shelves, man. So anyway, that's nice. What we got going on, dude.
Good stuff.
So saying all that, I want to go ahead and let everybody, give everybody a quick reminder. Follow our show here on Twitch if you guys like what you see. Like and subscribe on YouTube, and also subscribe on your favorite podcast player, please. If you really want to help us grow, share this episode with some friends, with some family, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, whatever. As always, we appreciate your support, and we're glad you're here.
Yes, we appreciate you guys more than you will know. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Hey, so with that being said, I think I'm going to hit them with the little transition into our...
New transitions. Can't wait to see these things. You guys let us know what you think about these.
We're doing it right now.
Back up once it's done.
Hey, we're back. We're back.
What you guys think about that new transition?
Yeah.
Yes.
What did you guys think?
Welcome to our first segment of the show. Some might say the best segment of the show. What you drinking?
What are you drinking?
Oh man, I'm drinking something interesting today, something I've never had before, and got to give a quick shout out to the voters. You guys keep hitting us up with those votes on Instagram. If you haven't voted yet, make sure you check our Instagram out. Next week, we throw up the vote on Thursdays and we take it through Friday. And this week, the people have spoken and they chose something called Life in the Clouds from Collective Arts Brewing. Look at how beautiful that can is.
Going back to one of our previous episodes, man. There it is. When you see it on the shelf.
Yeah, I actually had to go digging for this one because I went to Total Wine. My new strategy is go to Total Wine for like the very interesting finds to showcase on the podcast. Because like Wegmans and stuff, they have a lot of good stuff, but you can't like their build your own 6-packs and stuff they don't have as much of an expansive selection. So checked out Total Wine. I had to like walk around for a while, like towards the back of the store to find this one, but the voters. Not unanimously, but almost 67% to 33%. This one won over the Space Cake Double IPA from Clown Shoes. And this one actually comes to us from Canada. So I'm going to go ahead and crack this open. But yeah, I love this can design.
So do you think that when people are voting for these, they're voting just based on what the can looks like or how the beer sounds?
I'm going to bet that the looks play into it quite heavily.
Dude, that beer looks so good.
It does look mighty tasty. Nice hazy little IPA. Not super thick. A little translucent. Kind of a pale yellow. This comes from Hamilton, Ontario, which is in Canada, obviously. It's an IPA, 6.1% ABV, 50 IBUs. Let's go ahead and have a sip out of the official Ginger in the Beard beer glass.
Nice.
That's very interesting. Kind of hit you with the citrusy up front. I'm going to kind of talk about it in a second, but I need to get better at my beer descriptions. It's
I
kind of
believe
like
in
it's kind of like a I want to say like a maltier taste on the back end though, which is kind of weird for an IPA, obviously.
you. Okay.
But the description they give on the website here from the brewery is: fall into the rich embrace of this New England style IPA. Simcoe and Mosaic hops balance each other. So what I must be getting on the back end is that Simcoe, because I know the Mosaics are very citrusy, which we're going to get into in a second. But make this juicy IPA explosively fruit forward in both taste and aroma, while curbing any unbearable sweetness to make an extremely drinkable beer. I would agree with that.
Yum.
The huge mouthfeel ensures all your taste buds are enveloped in a blanket of tropical bliss, paradise in a can. Who's your agency?
Wow.
Who wrote that paragraph? That was very well written.
They did good.
Yeah,
Mouth's
so I know I was interested in this one when I read the can in the store because it's mentioned the Mosaic hops, and as I mentioned, like I think last episode or maybe one before that, the Mosaic IPA that I've gotten from Farmhouse Brewing, which is a local brewer, is one of my favorites I've had. So I saw them another IPA brewed with Mosaic hops. I'm like, all right, let me try this out. So a little bit about Mosaic hops was interesting. Jason Perrault, through his hop breeding company, is the one who invented Mosaic hops. His company is Select Botanicals and the hop breeding company. So Mosaic, they started the breeding process in 2001, and it's only been like brewing with it for the last 4 years. That's how long it takes. You know, obviously we're in 2020 here. So in 2016 is when they actually started brewing with it. So 15 years it took to kind of crossbreed a couple different, strands or whatever you call it, to produce Mosaic. But the description of the hops is that the hops are complex in profile, may be most noted for its blueberry or berry medley aromas, but other descriptors used include mango, stone fruit, rosy or floral, bubblegum. I've never tasted bubblegum in a beer. I've seen that used before. It's kind of weird. Tropical citrusy, pine, earthy. I definitely get the citrus most prominently, but It's a complicated hop variety and lives up to its name well. So yeah, that's kind of about this beer. Now that's kind of why I was interested in it, and very, very delicious. So shout out to Collective Arts Brewing for a beautiful can and a delicious beer.
Well, it certainly looks amazing, and I'm sure it tastes good too. It sounds amazing. I'm not much of an IPA guy, but yeah, I mean, I would probably try that. That sounds good.
Man, absolutely. So, what did the voters give you today, sir?
All right, so bit of a landslide there. Pretty cool to see a landslide like that, though. But we had the Beach Plum Goza against the good old New Realm Lime of the party, and you can see on screen 96%. It's kind of hard to see the can actually.
Yeah, the lights
with all of the all the lights.
Get it up in there. There you go.
Yeah, let me hold it up in there. Lime of the party, 96%. Holy crap, right?
96%.
Yeah, I kind of like the artwork on this. This cool little. He looks happy, doesn't he? He just looks like a happy little gremlin demon thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So let me tell you about it real quick. It's a Goza, New Realm Brewing Company out of Atlanta, Georgia, and guess what? Virginia Beach, Virginia. Did you know about New Realm? You know about New Realm?
Dude. Yeah, man, I've been there a few times. Actually, a couple weeks ago we were there.
You didn't take us there, right? Yeah, I think you said you were there. You told me about it, right?
Yeah, we should next time you guys are in town, we should definitely go there. It's like probably my second favorite brewery in Virginia Beach.
And they have food there too, right? It's like a brew pub.
They have food, and the last time we were there was the first time we tried their food. Extremely delicious. We both got some kind of crazy burger and fries. Oh, so good.
Oh, nice. Really I want to try it.
They have an amazing outdoor area, like super spacious. You can bring your dogs, bring your kids. They have like activities. It's very, very family friendly. So highly recommend.
Oh yeah, I think we're gonna have to plan a trip very soon. Very soon. Yes. You guys get healthy and we'll be down there. How about that?
Yep.
All right, guys. Here we go. Here's the beer pour. Watch the keyboard. Don't make any mistakes. Oh gosh. Good thing I said that too, because I literally just missed my cup barely.
Oh no! See, it's easy to do, man. You get a little bit in the moment, you get carried away.
There's no head on this. There's no head on this at all. That's interesting.
Pours like
The
a cider
no-head.
a little bit.
Yeah, it's almost like a cider. It's very bubbly. A lot of carbonation there. So real quick, guys, it's only available in Georgia and Virginia. Maybe I should have started with that as well. It's a light and tart. It's light and tart. This ghost is delicious. It's a delicious take on key lime pie. Key lime pie, right? And it's only 4%. So I'm gonna take a couple of these to get me drunk. But let's go.
I love a key lime pie.
Wow. That's sour. Yeah, that's like taking a bite into a lime.
Nice.
Oh, not as much though. It's not like as sugary. It's sweet, but not quite like as sugary as if you were biting like directly into a lime. Not as salty as you would expect. I'm definitely working on my beer critiques as well, but that's intense, dude. If you're looking to put your mouth on a wild ride, yeah, I'm definitely tasting key lime pie. This is definitely key lime pie. Not so much like pie, I guess, more just like the key lime. You know, like the filling of a key lime pie. Like that's what I'm getting right here. The filling of a key lime pie, which is what you would expect. So, real quick, it's Florida. Some of the ingredients here, we got Florida key lime juice, which I think that's very apparent. Sea salt, which is, you could barely get it. And then coriander and vanilla beans. My taste buds aren't picking up on that. I'm getting all lime and salt here. Yeah, so
Nice.
pretty intense, but not bad. So real quick, you want to get a picture? Oh, wait.
Oh, yep. Almost forgot.
Hold
I
on.
don't know how I continue to forget this.
Let me turn the picture off. So 96%, man. Crazy.
Clearly the people knew. All right, here goes a
definitely
picture.
do.
Instagram.
Smiles.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Oh, man. I got a little bit of news.
Oh yeah,
Ready
some
for it?
beer news. Let's hear it, man. What you got?
Got a little bit of beer news. I'm going to pull up an image real quick. You guys can see the book that I'm about to talk about. Book beer news. Book beer news.
Book?
Yeah, Brewers Publications publishes quality labs for small brewers, building a foundation for great beer. So it emphasizes the importance of establishing a quality program for every brewery, no matter the size. Merritt Waldron, who's the author and quality director at Baxter Brewing in Lewistown, Maine, walks readers through a step-by-step process on how to execute a quality program at any brewery. So this actually just got released today. It's $95. Actually, it didn't get released today. It's getting released on August 3rd on Amazon, where you can buy it for $95. But this just got we all just found out about it today, basically. So talks about policies, procedures, specifications, everything that you really need to know to make sure that you're doing a good job at your brewery. You're functioning efficiently, effectively, not wasteful. And I think that that's really important right now during all of these COVID-19 reopenings, because there's people that are probably struggling pretty bad in the craft beer small brewery industry here. So, you know, for $95 to learn about, you know, how to kind of do it right and make sure you're not making too many mistakes might be a good read. So, guys, if you're looking for another source of information, you know, something that could be useful, go ahead and check it out, August 3rd.
Nice. Awesome. Well, I know what to buy if I ever decide I want to brew some beer. That's one thing I've decided. I was like, I don't think I'm going to... Well, number one, I don't really have the space or the, you know, really space to do it. But I don't want to get into craft brewing, like home brewing, because I feel like I would just get sucked down a rabbit hole, and like that's where all my money would go and all my time and energy.
Yeah.
For some like lackluster beer.
We could have ginger beers and beard beers. Ginger beers and beard beers.
Beard beer. Yeah, man.
Ginger and the beard beer.
You never know.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
All right, man. You ready to talk about some UFC?
Let's do it. Let's head to our next section, man. Segment.
Next transition coming up. Wha-bam! We're back. Did you miss us?
Hello.
I
Welcome
missed us.
to UFC Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Yes, all right. We got a lot of stuff to cover. I think I'm going to kind of try to get through this stuff really fast because we've got a lot of other stuff to get to. But I do really quickly want to promote to you guys our new spin-off series, the Ginger and the Beard Weigh-Ins. So like nice little UFC tie-in there. On Tuesday nights, we haven't decided quite, is it going to be weekly or what's it going to be? But right now it's looking like it might be weekly. Tuesday nights, 9:30-ish. We're going to be doing a UFC specific, so it's dedicated 100% to UFC because we like to talk about it so much. It's our favorite segment of the show. We tend to go a little bit long in the tooth about it. So we have a new spin-off series called Weigh-Ins. So check that out. This is coming up Tuesday. We recap fights. We make fight predictions. We talk about UFC news, and we really can give ourselves some time to really dig into the topics that we tend to spend a lot of time talking about anyways. So check that out.
Yep.
The first
Yeah,
episode
we were spending.
was...
Good.
I was say the first episode was on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, and is out now on YouTube and also in your favorite podcast player. So if you want to check it out and see what it's about, you can do that now.
Yeah, we talk so much about UFC. We needed to just take an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, and just put it down somewhere else. So guys, we're still going to have a little bit of news here, but the majority breakdowns of the fights and stuff is as it's happening, right? Briefly after it happens or right before it happens, you're going to find the news there. You're going to find it there. But we still got some more stuff to talk about. So let's get into it.
Let's do it. All right, first story up. Henry Cejudo. This dude's name never stops coming up. Why is that? Because he's a crazy character. He loves the spotlight, and he's talking about coming out of retirement. He's been retired for a solid 2 months. Back in May at the end of UFC 249 with his victory, he decided his victory over Dominic Cruz, decided he was going to retire while he was on top, retain his Triple C title. But now, after the fight we saw last week with, was it last week? I think it was, Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski, with obviously Volkanovski defending his title, Henry Cejudo wants to come out of retirement, and he's spouting off all kinds of crazy stuff, just like he always does. Alexander actually went to Twitter and kind of took Cejudo's line and said, there's only one person bending the knee right now, referring to that's Cejudo, because Cejudo's really begging essentially for this fight to happen. So that's why he's using that line. But Cejudo claims that UFC fans are begging him to save the featherweight division right now. If he were to take the belt, that would actually make him the only ever 3-time champion in UFC history. Dana said earlier today he hasn't spoken to Henry and doesn't expect him to come out of retirement. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Dana's skeptical, right? I think Dana doesn't want Henry to come back. I think Henry was I don't know. I think he was like annoyed by Henry or something, but I feel like Henry was bringing the cash in. I feel like he was doing good for the business. So maybe this is all just like a strategy to like bring some money into the company. And I think that it would be awesome to see him fight Volkanovski. But what would he call himself? Quadruple C? That just doesn't roll off the tongue.
Oh, he'd be triple. Well, it's true. He'd be triple. He's already a triple C. So
he'd be quad C. Quadruple
C. Yeah. So that'll be interesting, man. I mean, we've talked about it on our first episode of Weigh-Ins. Plug again. Who's gonna be next? Like who's gonna take on Alexander? And I think Cejudo would be an amazing matchup. I think it'd be a hell of a fight.
I'd like to see it, but man, Volkanovski's so big. Anyways, he's such a big guy.
So moving on from that, we've got a fight night coming up tomorrow, actually on Saturday. Davison Figueiredo, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, versus Joseph Benavidez. These two guys actually met for I don't know, I guess it was their first matchup earlier this year, February, in Norfolk, so very close to home here. And it was a title fight. It was also a fight night again back then. Not many people really care about this division, I feel like. But, so the last time they met, Figueiredo missed weight. He didn't make weight for the fight, and he ended up winning the fight. and because it was a vacant title, nobody got the belt. The belt remained vacant because he missed weight. So now they're rematching again, and I guess we'll see how it goes. But last time, Benavidez got knocked out in the second round, so we'll see if there's a repeat here. But I'm kind of looking forward to checking this out.
Man, I don't know how I feel about this division, right? There just doesn't seem to be like a whole lot of competition there. Like
Right.
neither of these guys really stand out to me as being like, like championship material, I feel like, but I mean, I don't know. It just seems weird that some guy would come in and overweight and then win, and it's just a really weird situation, right? I don't like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I agree. One interesting fact that I did not know until I started looking into this is that Joseph Benavidez is actually married to Megan O'Leary, who is obviously a primary UFC commentator, reporter, analyst. She's always on the side of the octagon
What?
talking to fighters. They're married. Who knew?
I didn't know
But yeah,
that. That's crazy.
I didn't know that either. Pretty cool. But I'm actually interested
Nice.
in some of the other fights that are on the card, namely Kelvin Gastelum versus Jack Hermanson. So
Yeah.
Kelvin Gastelum is one of the more exciting fighters to watch. If you guys don't remember his fight with Israel Adesanya for the interim belt at what is that, middleweight? I think middleweight.
Yep, middleweight.
In my mind, will forever go down as one of the greatest fights ever. So obviously exciting. Jack Hermanson, also nothing to scoff at. He's been around for a little while. He's got a great striking game. Gastelum, we know, is a wrestler. Hermanson's also got some submission wins under his belt. So there's a huge reach disadvantage. I think it's like 6-inch reach disadvantage between Kelvin and Jack, and a little bit of a height disadvantage as well. So Kelvin's going to have to get inside there and probably take him down and use his wrestling to pull out a win here. But then again, Adesanya had a severe reach advantage as well, and we saw how Kelvin Gastelum almost put him down a couple of times.
Yeah, dude, exactly. So,
But
yeah,
if,
a little scary for Calvin's such a small guy, but he's so ferocious, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of pulling for him. I kind of want him to win.
I do too, because I want to see him climb back up there. I would love to see a rematch between him and Adesanya. I don't really know who Adesanya is. I think maybe I have a fight scheduled for him already. I can't remember.
Oh, he's fighting Paulo Costa. Paulo
That's
Costa.
right.
I don't think it's been booked just yet, but like that fight's happening. That's the next fight for those two. So, we're just waiting for a time and place. So, yeah.
Yep. That's exciting.
Um,
But yeah,
So-
so a couple fights, but I think that's about it. We'll probably dig in more next week and recap how they go.
yeah. Check us out on weigh-ins when we talk about the aftermath there. Nevada is no longer releasing official combat sports purses. So a lot of the fights were happening in Nevada, and we would find out exactly who was getting paid and how much they were getting paid. So as of July 2020, the Nevada Athletic Commission says access to the information about fighters' pay in both MMA and boxing is going away. So confidentiality has been in the works for more than a year. So this didn't just happen. This has been going on since 2018. They've been trying to get this all figured out. So I'm not going to break everything down. If you want to read the language of the bill that got passed, we'll post a link in the description. You could look it up yourself, but click that link and it'll take you right there. So as of now, California is the only major state providing data for both MMA and boxing. Florida is providing it for MMA but not boxing, and Arizona is providing for both, but they don't really hold major events. That's why I said California is the only major state. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's that's interesting. I don't know if that. I feel like that's going to hurt the fighters, right? Because people aren't going to. I don't know. I'm not really sure if it's going to hurt or help, but I just feel like people's information probably shouldn't be out there. But it's kind of ridiculous how low they get paid still. So maybe it would have been
Exactly.
helpful for people to know these guys aren't getting paid anything. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, my thought on that is kind of like it's a little bit coincidental to me that this is all happening at the time where there's actually kind of a revolt, happening with fighter pay. and you've got all these fans in the corners of the fighters saying like, yeah, dude, you should be paying them more. And now, like, oh, we're not publishing their purses anymore. But I guess if the fighters have to complain about it, they can publish whatever they got paid, however they feel like they should do so. So, I mean, I guess that information will probably still get out somehow.
I'm sure people will talk about it, right? So that leads me into another bit real quick. So Paige Van Zant, she fought last weekend. She reveals some expectations for upcoming free agency. So they did her first interview after UFC 251. I took a couple quotes out of it. I just want to read them here. So she says, I didn't know if that was my last UFC fight with me being on the last fight of my contract. And she says, I don't know if the UFC is going to re-sign me. She also said, Dana's comments, what I'm hearing you say, he wants me to test free agency. Then hopefully they will just let me go. If that's how they feel, then they'll just let me be free. And finally, she said, transparently, I lost that fight, obviously. She made $46,000 for the fight. She says, I haven't fought in 18 months, so I've made $46,000 in 18 months, being what people have said is a UFC star. I just feel like there's more out there for me. What are your thoughts on all that?
Dude, I mean, that's insane. Like, most people in like corporate America make a lot more than that in a year. And we're sitting in an air-conditioned space. Nobody's watching anything we're doing. And we're not getting punched in the face,
Yeah, dude.
And nobody's making bukus of money off of us. I think it's crazy, dude. I can't even imagine. I can't understand that. I would like to know what did Amanda Rivas make on that fight, like comparatively. It couldn't have been much more because Paige obviously has the larger name in the sport. I mean, obviously Amanda got the win bonus, but
yeah,
it's just
it
sad,
sounds like
dude. It's just
it
it's just
is.
not a,
I agree.
It's not a way to make a living at all.
They're
you're not
taking
getting
advantage
paid.
of her.
Yeah, we should dig into this more on our Tuesday show, but you're not getting paid for your sponsorships as much as you should be. You're not getting paid for the fights as much as you should be. Like, why continue to do it? Why not switch promotions and go to somewhere like Bellator or ONE FC? I'm not sure what their pay is like, but I don't know. It's crazy.
Dude, the amount of money that she's brought into the UFC and she's only making, dude, they've used her insanely. Honestly, she needs maybe she just needs a better manager in her corner. She should probably just have somebody that's able to like negotiate the prices a little bit better. But if I was her, dude, I would go free agency. I'd go somewhere else where they're going to pay me $1 million just to be there.
Yeah.
And she could do that. She's made way more money on other things. All right. So yeah, we can get into that whole pay thing later. Real quick, I just want to last thing on the UFC. Kamaru Usman, right now he's facing a potential 6-month medical suspension until cleared by a nasal X-ray image. So apparently Masvidal had a couple good shots and potentially might have broken or fractured Usman's nose. So we're waiting to see
that shot's so perfect. That picture is so perfect.
I know, right? Yeah, dude, I pulled this one because I was like, yep, that's it. There it is. That might be the punch that did it. That's the one. So, waiting to hear back. I really don't want him to have a broken nose, and I really don't want. I want to see him again in the next 3 months, dude. I want to see who's he gonna fight next. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Agree, absolutely agree. Cool. All right. Well, like we said, we'll get into more of the details and fight recaps. And there's a lot of fight nights lined up, man. Even next Saturday, we've got another one. So these things keep coming. So make sure you guys tune in on Tuesdays to weigh-ins. We'll be promoting that stuff on Instagram, Twitter, and all that good stuff. Check us out for more detailed insight into UFC.
Yes. All right. We're going to transition now into some tech news. See you soon. Talkin Tech, here we come. Hit me with that tech news, sir.
Technology news. All right, let's jump right in here. We've got a couple of stories here from the man himself, Elon Musk, his company SpaceX, more specifically. Hopefully, you guys let us know. Are you guys fans of Elon Musk and all his crazy ventures? If so, this stuff's right up your alley. So SpaceX announced a long time ago StarLink, which is their satellite internet company or division or whatever you call it. I mean, Elon Musk has like 100 companies under his belt at this point. But Starlink, I think, is actually like a division or product. I don't know how they classify it of SpaceX. But regardless, they seem to be moving closer to entering a beta test, as indicated by some leaks that came out in regard to like hardware and stuff that are being distributed to people who are in the beta program. So I thought we'd dig in a little bit into like what is Starlink. So if you guys haven't heard a lot about it here, we've got an image here up on the stream. So if you're listening in your cars, make sure you check that out. It's essentially like a stack. What you're looking at right there in the image is a stack of a bunch of satellites on top of each other, and this is how they're launched into space, right? Inside of a rocket, using the Falcon Heavy, I believe. But that's a stack of a bunch of satellites, and that's how they deploy so many at one time. But Starlink, like I said, is a satellite internet service that's yet to be launched. It's expected to launch in U.S. and Canada in 2020, in this year, and then globally in 2021. So if you're asking yourself, what's the point of a satellite internet? Well, obviously, if you live in like a remote area and you can't have access to like cable or things like that, if you're from somewhere like in my hometown and you like live up in the mountains somewhere, you can't get, if you're in the valley, you might not be able to get like, you might not be able to get like cable internet. So satellite's going to be like one of your only options. And there's a couple of satellite providers out there now, but they're relatively slow speeds, like 100 megabits per second, and pretty high price as well. I mean, as you can imagine, something like this is kind of expensive. So Starlink they're coming out and obviously they want to offer a better service. So their internet, satellite internet, is expected to be about a gigabit of speed, which is 1,000 megabits per second, which is what you would get from some of the higher end cable providers like Verizon. So that's kind of the benefit, is you get internet in more remote areas globally. They can offer this globally to people who don't have access to internet like we do here in the States, at very fast speeds. We don't know yet how much it's going to actually cost. So I started to dig into this a little bit more. There's already 422 Starlink satellites in orbit.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine that?
I had no idea.
And yeah, and this is when it's not even in beta yet. But SpaceX has filed a request to launch 42,000 satellites so far. That's what they've requested to launch, right?
Jeez.
So let's pull up there's another image here we're going to show. It's an image of what these things look like. You can actually see these Starlink satellites in the sky. I've not looked at this myself, but I imagine you have to be in like a pretty clear sky in the right area. But what you're seeing on the stream right now is a line of lights in the sky. I mean, it's just dots. That's one crazy. After another. And that's actually an image of all of the Starlink satellites in a row. So these things are literally forming like a network in space to, I guess, pass around the different internet signals and things like that, to have the most coverage. It's pretty bananas to think about it. I mean, I can't imagine there being 42,000 of anything orbiting the Earth. That's just kind of hard to wrap your head around. But it seems like at some point in the future, there's going to be a large amount of these Starlink satellites, and getting internet to people who are in hard-to-reach places. Some interesting technical things about these satellites. As small as they are, they have some kind of a krypton propulsion system, which I didn't really look into like what a krypton propulsion is, but apparently it's the first of its kind. There's no other device that's in space that has this propulsion system. It's got automatic collision avoidance, so if it detects incoming space debris, it can maneuver itself out of the way. Pretty crazy stuff here. And yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of interested, would you sign up for something like this? I mean, I'm not sure what the benefit really is to people who do have access to cable, but I guess just to be able to connect. I mean, I guess the benefit could be, hey, I can take my laptop, even though I have the service at my house, obviously, I can take my laptop, anywhere with me and always have internet access.
I think it's a fantastic idea, dude. I don't see anything wrong with this. I mean, if if it gives access to more people, I think more people should have the internet. I am a little bit worried about like when do these start falling, right? Like,
Yeah,
you
so
know?
they actually do mention that on their website. They do have an end of life period. So they are built with this propulsion system is actually there to get them back to Earth when their lifespan is complete.
Okay.
Whereas some older satellites, they kind of just throw them up there, they stop doing their job, and they just float around until eventually they uh, break into pieces or whatever.
So they're done.
But
Jeez.
these actually, interestingly, they're supposed to orbit a lot lower and closer to Earth than a traditional satellite. So the idea is if the propulsion system fails and it can't get them back to Earth, which we all know that SpaceX is pretty good at getting stuff back to Earth, without causing damage or, even reusing rockets and things like that. If they can't do that, then because they orbit closer to Earth, they actually burn up a lot faster than traditional satellites that are up there for hundreds of years, is what it said.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I guess they have that stuff in mind. My thing is like, okay, we see that line in this image of all these dots in the sky. At what point are you polluting the appearance of the sky? You know what I mean? Like, you talk
Yeah.
about windmills being visual pollution. At what point is the sky around you just speckled to the point that it's like visual pollution? Obviously, if you've got a nice starry night, you might not be able to tell anyways, but I don't know, seems kind of crazy. 42,000
I
satellites.
Yeah, that's another thing is, man, I don't know. That kind of like if you're up in the mountains, right? You want to go look at like the amazing starry nights, and
Yeah.
you see that thing, and your focus is now going to be on those lights.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
Not sure how I feel about it. It's got its pros and cons.
For sure.
I just don't want to see it where it's like there's like a whole grid of it in the sky. You can't even see the stars anymore. We just have
Yeah,
a
and
grid
also,
around our planet.
how sure are we that these satellites aren't going to link together and Elon Musk is actually an evil genius, and at some point, once he has all 42,000 of them up there, they just connect together and shoot one massive laser beam into Earth and blow us all up while
All
Elon
right,
Musk flies on a Falcon rocket to Mars.
all right, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Get out of here. What? Oh gosh, that would be
I'm just saying,
crazy.
how sure are we?
Not sure at all, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
So tagging right off of that, NASA's SpaceX Crew Dragon astronauts will return to Earth on August 2nd. So that's pretty much just right around the corner. Let me show you their handsome faces real quick. There they are, right down below. So the crew is going to undock at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on August 1st. They're going to splash into the Atlantic Ocean on August 2nd. So it's been a 2-month-long mission. They left on May 30th.
yeah.
And, just based on the success of this, let me know your thoughts on this. Crew Dragon will begin a series of regular round-trip flights. And also, SpaceX previously said it could send private citizens to space in late 2021 or 22. All based on this being successful, we might see citizens in space in like less than a year, potentially.
No, thank you.
No?
No,
You wouldn't
no
do it?
thank you. Number one, I'll never be able to afford that. And Paige Van Zant's never going to be able to afford that.
Not at this rate.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think I'd be in for that, man. I mean, maybe you test that out for a few years, and I don't want the chance of me shooting into space and blowing up to even be a thought that crosses my mind. However, I would like to wear one of those super cool space outfits. I mean, those things are super dope compared to
Just
what you see other people wear.
just walk around the house with that on.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It'd be amazing to see Earth from space. Like, I'm all about that. But I don't know. Maybe the first step for me is buying a Tesla, and then I'll be a little bit more comfortable with Elon's shenanigans, and then we'll see about space travel.
I wouldn't mind having a Tesla. I've heard they're awesome. So
I wouldn't either, dude. The Model 3s are actually not unreasonably expensive. They are expensive, but they're not Model S expensive.
yeah. So I don't know. I might go to space, but I doubt I mean, if I had the opportunity, I would probably just go and try it out, but I'd be deathly afraid because I hate
Oh,
flying. I'd be
oh, do you?
deathly afraid. The whole time I would be terrified. Um,
How could you not be? Those astronauts are probably still terrified.
these guys don't have souls.
That's true.
There's no way.
I'm a ginger, so I don't have a soul either. So,
No, these guys
um,
actually don't have souls though. There's no way.
yeah.
Gosh. Okay.
So taking us into something a little less I don't know the word I'm looking for.
Spacey.
You're not gonna yeah spacey sure. Razer, and we're in the tech news segment here. Razer has introduced a new 60% gaming keyboard, the Huntsman Mini. So, I'm a big Razer fan. I've got some Razer accessories here on my desk, my headphones, my mouse. I don't have a Razer mechanical keyboard though. And this Huntsman Mini is actually quite interesting to me. I have like a 104 key keyboard, I believe, right now. So it's not a full size keyboard. It's a little bit more compact, but not quite as compact as this one. This is a 60% gaming keyboard, which means it does not have a numpad. I think that means it also does not have a function row. It's the same as the one you're holding up right now, the Ducky that you're using. But they just released this thing. It's $120 or $130 depending on which keys you get, or sorry, which switches you opt in for. There's two different options. There's an optical. They're both optical switches. There's either a clicky version, if you like the nice clicky experience with a very noticeable bump when you depress the keys, which is what the Beard is using with his Ducky keyboard, or if you prefer a linear switch, which requires less force to press and does not have that noticeable bump, then you actually have to pay a little bit more. But it's an aluminum case, so it's nice build quality. Of course, it's got the Razer Chroma, RGB, keys, backlighting, and all that stuff. It just looks really nice. I mean, they have the available in this black color, or I forget the word they call it, but it's essentially white. I don't know if they have a different word for it, but it looks really nice. It looks like a great keyboard. But I wanted to ask you, since you've been living with a 60% keyboard, where I'm over here, I've got my numpad, I've got my function row. What's it life like with a 60% keyboard? What's the pros and cons?
So like for gaming, it's no problem at all. I really enjoy it. But I live in a world of Excel spreadsheets, right? And I am like a big proponent of hotkeys and shortcuts on my keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm constantly doing, control and control home, control shift and, anything that can make my life easier, alt F4, control escape, basically like, so I don't have to ever go and like hit the file button. Okay. Mm-hmm. So just laying that little groundwork. Yeah. I love it for gaming. It's a challenge right now because since I don't have function keys and I don't have the numpad, and like I don't have the home, the end, the page down or the page up, they've made it so that I have to press the function button, and then each one of like the letter keys actually gets you access to that. So real quick, I almost spilled my beer. Oh my gosh.
No.
So my JKI and these keys are I actually have the arrow keys assigned to them, and to use my arrow keys I have to press function, right? So it's taken a bit to get used to. Sometimes if it's a challenge, but it's kind of fun at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just kind of like fun. So I like it. It was weird at first, but I'm not gonna. I don't think I'll ever go back to a normal size keyboard. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, I feel like there's two camps here. Like I don't think that I could ever get used to that because I would endlessly be looking down at my keyboard to figure out like what do I need to push, and that drives me insane. Even as we're like streaming games and stuff with this microphone kind of obstructing the view of my keyboard, having to like look around it like drives me insane. But not having my numpad and the function rows, which with my keyboard, this keyboard actually can control Macs as well. So it has like the I don't know what they call them, the short keys here, like turn up the brightness and things like that. I'm not sure how I'd feel about it, but I do like the compact form factor because I'm all about minimalism on my desk. It's all very streamlined. Everything has its place. So from that perspective, I kind of like the idea of a 60% keyboard. But anyways, if you guys are interested in this, it's $120 if you want the clicky optical switches. But if you want the less clicky, easier to press switches, it's $130. So pretty affordable in the grand scheme of things. So check that out.
Yeah. I just bought this, so it's kind of a bummer because everything else I own is Razer. I have like Razer everything. So, and they didn't have the keyboard that I wanted. It was one of the tournament editions that they discontinued. This one's right up my alley. If I would have just waited, I had no idea. So, anyway, let me fade that out real quick. I got one little other bit of news. I'm actually gonna play a video real quick. You should see it on the screen now. So a social VR platform called VTime. It's a video support. There's a new update available. Video support in theater mode, basically. So there's a new update today. It includes a few theater spaces where you can chat with some friends and watch some select sports programming on big screen TVs. So this is mostly over in like Europe, like England and stuff. They're watching, soccer games basically and hanging out with each other in like a pub setting on screen right now. So it's available on all supported platforms, including Oculus Rift, Windows VR headsets, Google Cardboard, Oculus Go / Gear VR, and any AR-capable mobile devices. So, what are your thoughts on using VR as like a social venue?
I mean, I'm honestly surprised that VR is taking so long compared to other technology to like make its way into the mainstream. I don't know. I'm not really sure why. I'm not sure if it's cost. I think the cost has definitely gone down a lot, so it's not as cost prohibitive as it used to be. But you do have to have like a PC in a lot of cases, unless you have like the Oculus Quest or something like that can, run without a gaming PC. So I think there are still some limitations there. But if this pandemic had occurred, and I mean, I hope for everyone's sake this doesn't ever occur again, maybe 5 years from now, this is what everyone would be doing. We'd be turning to our headsets to pop into a pub or to a bar or whatever, hang out with your buddies, watch the football game, watch the whatever, play video games, play some, whatever. Just hang out. Because number one, I don't own a VR console. I don't own a headset, so I can't really speak to it. I know you do. But I mean, I got to imagine that's the next best thing to being there in real life with people, with actual people. So if I had the hardware and if I had the network of friends who also had the hardware and in there, I mean, sure, I'd be into trying it out. I'm interested in seeing, what becomes of that.
I think with some haptic feedback, I think in 5 years, you'll probably see portable headsets with decent quality, right? Quality that we have right now when you have to be plugged into a computer will just be available to most people at probably half the price that it is right now, if not less. The Oculus Quest, in 5 years, you'll probably be able to get them for like $100, but they'll have way better technology by then. So.
Yeah, I mean, all these stories that you continue to cover, and I appreciate your VR perspective that you bring to the podcast every week, where you cover stuff like VR being used with the military to train, being used for surgeons to train, all that stuff, which seems like to some people like, why is this relevant to me? I don't care about that. I'm not a surgeon. The reason it's relevant is because the more industries that pick up this technology, the more they're ordering hardware, the more screens, the more headsets, like all this stuff. So it's going to continue to drive the cost down for consumers who get to use this stuff, in the end. So that's why it's really important and interesting. So,
I think 50 years from now, man, everybody's going to be using VR. There's going to be virtual reality classrooms. There's going to be virtual reality workout sessions, virtual reality, meet with somebody online in a virtual reality space, like which you can already do today, but I think it's just going to be more mainstream.
Yeah. So. I kind of hope that we don't get to the Wall-E sort of life. Have you ever seen Wall-E and people literally just live in VR and they do nothing else? But I do, like, from a productivity standpoint, I need to experience some good VR first to really give any perspective on it. But like, I can't imagine just having a headset on and like having all of my softwares and things that I use just like floating in front of me, and I can just like
Yeah.
grab things and like interact with things like that. That seems like the dream.
Well, if we come down there, I could see about bringing everything with me to give you a
Yeah, dude.
try on it.
We'll see if
It'd be
my
a bit.
PC can run it.
No, no, no. I would bring my PC. Yours wouldn't
Oh,
be able to.
jeez.
Yeah, I'd
Damn.
have to bring
Okay.
my PC. Um, either that or we like find somewhere where we can go and experience it in a public setting. But I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. We'll talk about it. But let's talk about some video games. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Hey guys, we're back again talking about some video games. I think we're going to learn a little bit right now about some free
Free
Epic games.
99. Yes. So Epic
So,
Games. You guys, if you've been listening to us at all, the beard is who turned me on to the free video games with Epic, and I've already probably got like 10 or 15 free games in my library as it is. He's
yeah,
got like ridiculous numbers of video
I
games. How many
do.
you have? Like what, hundreds?
Not hundreds. I probably have close to 100 though. Just every time they have them for free, I just grab every single one of them. Sometimes it's like 3 times a week. So, and I've been doing
Why
it this
not?
whole year. So,
Yeah, why not?
yeah.
So today, or maybe not today, but this week they announced Torchlight 2 is free. It's normally $20, so you save yourself $20. Can download this game for free, and I think you've played this game before, right? I've never played this game.
Yeah, so I have played this game. It's a bit older now at this point in time. I think it's been around for like more than 5 years, but it's your typical kind of like action RPG. Think of Diablo 2, Diablo 3, but just like less grungy kind of graphics, like even less grungy than Diablo. It's got a lot of colors, a lot of like easy shapes, so not very rough on the eyes. Certainly like more tailored towards like a younger generation or whatnot. They've had some updates in the past that made it a lot more fun for people to play the game. Just a lot of mob killing essentially. There's even an option to just like click a button and it just like starts playing the game for you, which I'm not a big fan of that.
What?
But yeah, it'll like basically just run through the quests for you, and then you'll come back and have like a max level character and just enjoy like the end game content. So yeah, it's just killing bosses, killing mobs, that kind of thing. So if you want to sit back, slay some mobs, there you go, man. There's Torchlight 2.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, yeah. So gamers are spending more in 2020 than they have in a decade. I believe it. I believe it. So U.S. video game spending totaled 1.2 billion in June.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
So that's the most since 2009, and it's a 26% increase compared to last year. People are bored, bro. People are bored. So June is part of a larger trend. Year-to-date spending on game hardware, software, accessories, and cards reached 6.6 billion. That's up 19% compared to the same period last year. It's also the highest total for year-to-date period since 2010. So we're hitting all-time highs right now. At this rate, 2020 is on track to be the best year for gaming in a decade. Wow.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I can only imagine that some of this is related to COVID. I mean, the industry that
Yeah.
I work in, I'm not sure how your industry is faring with your job, but the industry that I work in, which is deals with like power sports, like motorcycles, ATVs, also recreational vehicles, RVs, and things like that, is just flipping skyrocketing, dude. Like insanely. Like the number of sales is like just blown out of the water from any year past, right? And I feel like all these sorts of things are just seeing massive growth because of the virus. Um,
Yeah.
and video games of everything makes the most sense to me because you're sitting at home, you've got nothing else to do, right? Why
Yep.
not entertain yourself with some video games? I mean,
Yeah,
you
dude.
can't spend your money on going out and getting beers as often or getting food, whatever, hanging out with your friends. Spend it on some new games.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. My industry hasn't been affected. we're in like the transportation industry, so it's kind of like very delivery of products to people and whatnot. So, it hasn't been affected, hasn't seen increases or decreases, oddly enough, just very stable. But yeah, I think video games, man, when you're stuck in the house, there's not a whole lot to do. It's very easy just to go play a video game and get your mind off of what's going on out in the world. It's like, it's the evolution of television, in my opinion. Why watch television when you can play television, right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I think it's pretty cool. I got one final piece about video games, and it's a shout out to Road to VR and Ben Lang, who wrote this article. He just created a list of 17 great VR games for relaxation and meditation. So a lot of VR news today. I got a lot of VR stuff going on. So guys, if you want to check out this this list, go to roadtovr.com for the full list. And you could just look for top 17 VR games, or 17 great VR games for relaxation and meditation. We'll post a link to it as well. So some of the notable games include Real VR Fishing, which is available on Quest, Rift, and Steam VR, $20 price. It's all about that nature relaxation. I checked it out a little bit, man. It looks really cool. And I'm not like much of a fisherman. I've gone fishing maybe 10 times in my life. But I kind of want to download this game and check it out because it looks so cool. So moving on, there's another one called Sheaf. Yeah, dude. I mean,
I have a problem. Okay, so I don't mean to take us off on a tangent here. I have a problem with some kind of video games. One video game type segment that I have a problem with is soccer video games when you're playing against the computer. Because video game decides when you score a goal. It doesn't matter how good you are. It really doesn't matter how good you are. If you shoot for a goal in a soccer game, the computer makes a decision. Am I going to block this shot or am I not? Right? That's just what it comes down to. All right. So, and then a fishing VR game. So the computer decides, do you catch a fish? Right? Like,
maybe.
I don't know.
No, I think no. I maybe not so much on that, right? Because I think there is some technique to it where if like you pull the line too much and you don't slack it, you just keep pulling it too much, then you're not going to get it right. But like but there is still some RNG in it where it's like no matter what, you're not going to get this fish, So but you could say that for a lot of different games. For soccer, I totally agree with you.
That's been one of my biggest pet peeves ever since like watching people play these FIFA games and stuff. I'm just like, but how do you enjoy playing this game when you know that it doesn't matter how good you are? The computer decides, do you win or lose? Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess like we were talking about the UFC video game earlier today or earlier in the show, or actually it wasn't on the show, but anyways, I guess the game kind of decides, am I going to win or not? I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to think about. But anyways, continue.
All right. So Sheaf is another one. It's Together EP. It's an album, actually. So it's on Steam VR, and it's free, guys. Music relaxation. So I want to check this one out, too, especially since it's free, and it's on Steam VR. So Endless Highway and Synthwave soundtrack. So basically, you're just in a car, just going down the highway, looking around the whole time, just relaxing. 3-track album. Sheaf's actually an artist and a musician, so I thought this one looked really cool. Very artistic kind of design to it. Very soft colors, soft layers, and a cool little synthwave track to help you relax. I got 2 more. So I got Guided Meditation VR. So that's on Rift, Steam VR for $15. It's all about meditation. Self-explanatory. I don't know how much I could tell you about that one. You're just kind of out in the wilderness. Fake kind of wilderness, a generated kind of wilderness. It's not actual like true pictures or anything like that. But, it still gives you that kind of vibe and guides you through meditation. So this is one that I might also check out very soon. And then finally, Spheres. This one I thought looked really cool. So it's $10, an exploration game, interactive narrative experience, compelling tour of the cosmos. So just like very intense audio, visual, and then there's a narrative to it where you're kind of like exploring what the heck's going on in this video game. So for $10, I think the price is right there. So I definitely want to check that out.
Awesome, man.
That's all the video game news I got, bro.
The meditation stuff, man, sounds interesting to me. Like, I've been listening to a lot of content about like meditation stuff. I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan. I'm just gonna put it out there for you guys. That's maybe a controversial topic. Some people love him, some people hate him. I'm a huge Joe Rogan.
Oh, I love him.
And the stuff that he talks about with meditation and stuff, like I'm like, I should try that out, but I don't know where to start, right? So that sounds interesting to me. Like, we were talking about this before the show. Like, put me in like a Tibetan Buddhist temple or something, or I'm just like surrounded by monks and people like meditate. Just like really just take me there. I want to immerse myself and like become one with the world. That sounds super fun.
Oh, dude, definitely. I don't want to get into like all of the other stuff, the negative stuff, talking about hallucinogens and stuff like that. But he's got some really cool stuff, and I love, like, check out Wim Hof. I don't know if you've heard about Wim Hof. Wim Hof was on his podcast.
The breathing guy?
He's the breathing guy. The breathing guy that can like conquer cold. He's so cool.
Okay, he just put out another episode. I don't know the guy's name. I have to look at my phone to check it out. But another episode as a reporter out there talking about the breathing stuff. They talk about Wim Hof, and the stuff they talk about you can achieve through breathing is mind blowing. I gotta get it. I listened to that podcast, and the rest of the day I'm like practicing my breathing through my nose, like making sure I'm breathing the right way. So check that out. But anyways, enough about Joe Rogan.
Definitely. Yeah.
Where's my? I have a Joe Rogan Experience mug somewhere. My wife got me for Father's Day.
What? Oh, I want
it's
one.
Like a coffee mug. I actually have a sticker in here somewhere too. Might take me a minute to find it, but I got a Joe Rogan sticker.
Oh, dude, he's definitely one of my favorite. He's definitely my favorite podcast.
Bam.
Nice. There he is. JRE. That's awesome.
Trying to figure out where I should place this bad boy.
Dang, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you got a couple of shout outs, I think. So let's go ahead and transition to the shout outs section. Be right back.
All right,
guys.
let's do that.
Here we are talking about some shout outs and signing off very soon, guys.
Speaking of Joe Rogan, we don't need to give him any extra love. That dude's got so much, deservedly so much, a giant audience. I can't speak right now, but anyways, yeah, the shout out section here, guys. We've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. We'd like to give a little bit, share the love a little bit for some of the other podcasts who we've been networking with and who are trying to grow their shows just like we're trying to grow our shows. So this week I've got one called the Virtual Pub Podcast, which actually ties in perfectly with what you were saying earlier about the virtual kind of social experiences. This is a couple of guys. There you can see it in the logo there. Adam and Beef. Yes, the guy goes by Beef. A couple of dudes. They've been friends for a long time. They talk a lot about beer, but they also talk a lot about liquor and cocktails. And these guys can drink, man. Like, whenever I listen to an episode, Beef especially is talking about how he's had like 3 or 4 cocktails throughout the day and then still goes on to do a podcast and like does it well.
Nice.
So kudos to these guys. They've definitely got their tolerance up there, but they have an appreciation for the recipes, the quality contents, the quality alcohols and things like that. And they always share their recipes. They talk about, Beef talks about his wife making different types of drinks for them. Shares the recipes, how to make these things. And they also put it out to their audience and ask for suggestions and recipes from the audience, which is kind of cool to hear about. They do interviews with brewers, and it's just a really relaxing, easygoing podcast. Really fun to listen to these guys, to hear them talk about their stories and their experiences, hanging out with each other in the past and whatnot. So go check those guys out. I networked with them on Instagram, but also found them on Apple Podcasts, which is where you can find them as well. So go give those guys a subscribe and leave them a review and let them know that the Ginger and the Beard sent you.
Yeah, guys, make sure to check them out. Show them some love.
Yes.
And spread the love. That's what it's all about, man. Spread it. Spread it. Let's get everybody's name out there. Let's all grow. Let's all learn. Let's all have fun.
Yes.
We're having
absolutely.
fun. Yeah. So, in closing, again, I just want to say, if you guys like what you're hearing, make sure to follow our show here on Twitch, like and subscribe on YouTube, and subscribe on your favorite podcast player. If you really want to help us grow, tell your friends, tell your grandmother, tell your grandfather, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, whatever, dude. Call them, tell them, whatever.
Coworkers.
As always. Coworkers. Yeah, coworkers.
Stop-
We appreciate
stop a
your
guy.
support.
Yeah. Stop people in the street.
Go tell the guy
Tell 'em.
handing you your food at McDonald's. I don't even know.
The mailman.
The mailman. The mailman. We're glad you guys are here. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. And don't forget, like we mentioned earlier in the show, check us out on Tuesday. We'll be putting up reminders on Instagram and Twitter. Check us out on Tuesday night. We'll be doing another weigh-ins episode where we talk 100% about UFC. So if that's what you're interested in, that's what you're here for. We talk 100% about UFC on Tuesdays with our weigh-ins episode. We'll be giving fight recaps for the fight night that's coming up on Saturday and also covering some more news in the sport. So check us out then. But until next time, please do follow us on YouTube and all your favorite podcast players. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Have a great night. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Tuesday. Adios.